Hey friends and family, so I'm back again, and it's kind of nice because it's a Sunday afternoon, and because I don't really have 100% energy, I'm not going to be undertaking any great creative endeavors this afternoon, which means instead, I think I'll try to do another video. Let's see. Um, like probably most of you, when you start a video and it kind of goes off the rails while you abort it, well, let's see if this one goes. So to start with, I'll just show a couple things I had the time to play. I've been kind of busy, even though I've been sick, making these videos actually, and going through my original music, making those videos. That's taken up quite a bit of time these last few days. Been loving it too, but did a bit of listening and pulled this album, Harumi. um, this is not a lost classic, but there are some classic psychedelic moments on here, as well as some pretty embarrassing, kitschy moments. Don't know who this cat was, but Harumi was a Japanese or Chinese cat who, I think Japanese, yeah, Japanese. This album's produced by Tom Wilson, the infamous black producer who discovered Frank Zappa and Mothers of Invention, among others. It is rumored that the backing band are the Mothers of Invention, and that's who's in the picture. I've tried to look closely, and I really can't recognize anyone. And to be honest with you, when I met Jimmy Carl Black the second time, I had this album with me. And I asked him, do you remember this session? Did you play on here? That's what people say. And he was very honest. He said, man, back in the day, I played on so many sessions, I have no idea. And then I showed him the picture to see if he could recognize himself. And he was old man when I saw him. He couldn't distinguish the pictures. There wasn't enough light. So I was not able to determine if it's the Mothers or not. Sounds like it could be, because the backing band on here is very good. They're very good musicians. And this is, in part, pretty good. It's a double LP of all things. This came out maybe 1968, 69 on the Verve Forecast label. All the imprints of Tom Wilson's money and movements within MGM at the time. I noticed that Tom Wilson's face is amongst the faces on the inside of the cover. So it's interesting, It's like, I wonder what the whole story was behind this record being made. Frankly, there is one really good pop track. I wonder if there is a Cult of Harumi somewhere. I wonder if we actually had a brief regional airplay with this song, Fire by the River. It's the last song on the first side, and it's real good, actually. And the album starts off real good, real psych, real pop psych, That's why it sounds like it could be the Mothers, because it's almost like a pastiche, almost like a parody, It's like, ooh, we're being psychedelic. And then the second album is just two sidelong tracks where it's obvious that, not obvious, but this is what I say. This is just some stoned, rambling bullshit. And they released it. It really is. It's like just like these cats were grooving on an afternoon, and they start this, Tom Wilson. I'm sure one of those voices is Tom Wilson. It's a black man. And then there's the Japanese voice. And it's like they're not really rapping, but they're like sort of telling this really loose stream of consciousness sort of story, but it just devolves into crap. It's wonderful because it's such a timepiece. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So I really enjoyed listening to that. Some things that I've shown recently, but that I've been listening to because you have to absorb what you buy. You don't just buy it and stick it on the shelf anymore. I don't. I try to listen. So I've been listening to The Tortoise and the X. This is great. Got this used a couple weeks ago, and I played this several times. Really like this album a lot, and love the blend of what the X and the Tortoise are about. People have been showing this And I've been listening to this, and yeah, this sounds just great. And I agree with you, Fred, Big Star 1000. The sound quality is fine. And it's cool because this works really well as a pure listening experience, as well as watching the DVD. What a wonderful package presentation of Cigar Roast music. Really glad I got to see them. Pulled this out because I've been really gaga over the latest Ladytron, so I went back to this one, 604. And again, this is back in early days. I think this is maybe their first album or one of the first ones. And what I like about them is right from the get-go, they got that stomping electro beat. They know the secret. It's in the beat. If there's going to be a beat, it needs to be strong. Not that it has to be heavy. When percussion is used, it needs to be right. A band is only as good as a drummer. That's a cliche. That's old school, but I'll defend it myself as a musician. It's true. If you're going to have drums or percussion, it needs to be what it is. Half-stepping drums and sloppy playing only works in limited settings. The drummer and the rhythm section of a band is the heart. And it needs to be on the job. I say period. Or else get out of that seat. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another pull. And let's see. So yeah, I'll go. And I don't want, see, the thing is, if I look, then I'll start to choose. I'm just going to pull a small bit from here, and then maybe enough time I have a small bit from another one, okay? So here we have, what's this first front record? That looks like that is Kansas. Yeah, especially like the first album, Kansas, from Kansas. Saw them live back in the day, back when they were hot, you know, back in the 70s, I guess. Yeah, 70s. And it was very good. And the opening band was Ambrosia. And they got booed because the kids in the Midwest were totally not getting the moves of the frontman. What's his name? David Page or something? He was kind of coming off to the girls, kind of half sexy, because they were moving from prog into LA pop, and the kids weren't getting it. They thought he was acting like a fag, you know. It was funny. Okay, so there's that. Morikante, African. This is like African pop. Aqua Beach. When is this? I got turned on to this on off of cable television. 1987, yeah. He had a hit, probably a European hit, Yeke Yeke off of here. Love this album. It's very commercial, but very African and just swinging. This is great. Aqua Beach. Aquaba Beach. Aquaba Beach. Morikante. You know, this is as much, maybe this is more fun for me than it is for y'all because I keep rediscovering my records. I have so much. What's next? Again, roots. People rock roots. Sunfighter, Paul Kantner and Grace Slick. You know, I played this not that long ago, actually. I have played this album this year. And it's all right. But, you know, what I really like is this. Now we're talking. I'll leave that up for a while. Isn't that awesome? I remember those light shows. Thankfully, got to see light shows, some of those light shows of that caliber by that, I believe, by that actual group with Santana. I saw, first time I saw Santana on the Caravanserai tour, it was awesome. He comes out and prays for it was literally almost a half hour of him just praying and lighting candles before he played a note. It was intense as heck. What's next? Blows Against the Empire. This is very good. Very, very, very good. And this is rock, psychedelia, even smatterings of radio pop. This is the shit. Jefferson Airplane I love. I never even showed my Jefferson Airplane. I got some Jefferson Airplane. This is nice because it has the original book still with it. And just love back in the day. These guys were all about still flying the freak flag back in the day. You know, when Jefferson Starship became Starship, it was like that was the time when it was like, ooh, definitely sell out. But in hindsight, again, they got it right. They needed to make some money. The inner sleeve, that's probably David Crosby right there, a drawing of him. These, to me, were the halcyon days of American rock. Yes, the classic days that people are still in love with. I love them too and experienced them. I was a part of it, you know, in my youth. The Doors, the Rolling Stones, Grateful Dead, the East Coast, West Coast thing, the Bosstown sound, all of the regional scenes that came and went. I remember I was down with it. Okay, we just lost this man. So sorry that we lost Mick Karn of Japan, a fantastic bass player. And here we have Dreams of Reason Produce Monsters. This is low key but excellent. And the two David Sylvian vocal tracks on here are the best songs on here. Love this album. Original inner sleeve with the drawing and artwork by Mick Karn. Custom label for it. Made by this is a UK press, made by Virgin Records. This is a subtle but good album, and I would think that this is someone that you could probably come across for not that much money. And if you see it, get it. You know, I would say some of you may indeed really enjoy it. What's next? I would like to get his other solo album on vinyl. I think I have it on CD. I can't remember the name of it right now. Okay, I've got a couple of Edward Caspell solo albums, the leader of legendary Pink Dots. These records are hard to come across. Very, very lysergic, very psychedelic, but not in a West Coast 60s kind of way. Very UK, very English, very Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland, take a pill and grow larger and smaller in type. This is very wonderful. That's what I like about legendary Pink Dots and Edward Caspell. Completely creating a world of their own. This is 1984 In Phase Records. Very, very good. What is the name of this one? I just have to put my damn keepers on. Laugh China Doll, Edward Caspell. And then the other one I have here is Cataclysmi China Doll by Ed Caspell. This is a numbered limited edition, number 229 of 500. Here's the front cover. So I don't know. I don't know how easy. I don't think it'd be easy to find this one at all. And both of these albums I've definitely listened to deeply, and they take you on a journey. Cataclysmi China Doll, Edward Caspell. I got to meet Edward Caspell after seeing them in Kansas City live. And true to form, he was tripping his balls off for the whole show. And he and his girlfriend or his wife, whoever she was, might have been his wife, backstage, very kind, but they were still very high. But again, he reminded me, I've done a lot of acid too. And so I was straight except for smoking for that night. So, but I was familiar with where they were at, where you can be lucid while being very much in the psychedelic state, you know. And it was just a complete pleasure to meet the man, via lyrics. So that's a pull. It's not that long. I think I'm gonna do another one from another section. Okay. Alrighty. I'll put these away in a second. I'm going to go behind me. And again, I'm going to show you I'm not looking. I'm grabbing a stack. And again, I'm admitting that there's a great possibility that some of these records could be embarrassing because I have all kinds of stuff. So here we go. And first off, right away, thank you, Rob Elovox, for adding this to my collection. David Torn, Cloud About Mercury. I haven't forgotten you, man. Well, I left a note, actually. I got some stuff. Actually, those CDs there are yours. I'm waiting for some vinyl to send you. I want to send you some vinyl, man. But those are your CDs. Thank you so much, Cloud About Mercury on vinyl, man. Fantastic. Here's something I don't know if anybody knows about. Bet you do, but no one's showed it yet. Colin Towns, Full Circle. This is some kind of soundtrack from the music from the film Full Circle, which I've never seen. This is a very dark version of Mike Oldfield, is the way I would describe this right away. Let me see if there's any names on here musically. It's composed by Colin Towns, and it's all instruments, voices, and percussion by him. Additional percussion, Mark Nassif. I just showed you a Mark Nassif album recently. Okay. So once again, this is the fun thing about doing this. I discover new things about my own records. This came out, let's see, 1978. Something else I love about the back cover. Look at his boots, man. I love those stacked heels back in the day. I used to have a couple pairs of those. They're long gone. Here's a real cool Tortoise Autechre collaboration on Thrill Jockey. It's a 12-inch single. And this one is wild. The illustration is great because it doesn't sound like either one of them. This is wild. This is really good. Autechre and Tortoise collaborating. Well, now, I was just talking about this, and so, I guess, again, another aspect of me is being, completely understood. Here's Peter Tosh. And do I agree with Brother Man is saying on here? Damn straight. Legalize it, people, for heaven's sake, Sorry that not everybody can handle it, but believe me, when we look at the damage, like idiots, we chose to legalize alcohol, and just look at the destruction that's done to this planet. Nothing marijuana would. There's no comparison. There's no argument. There's no comparison. We have history showing us. So back to the record, Peter Tosh. My cover is water damaged, but I love this album. I love Peter Tosh. And I agree with it. Legalize the shit, man. Stop the bullshit. What else we got by Peter Tosh? Mystic Man. Love Peter Tosh. Just as large of a presence and talent in the Wailers as Bob Marley himself. Without doubt, I say Bob Marley learned a thing or two from Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer, as well as, vice versa. This has one of my favorite Peter Tosh songs, Crystal Ball. Looking in your crystal ball, man. What do you see? I got my roots down, people. I know I sound like a broken record. Peter Tosh, Equal Rights. Peter Tosh, people. Here's a compilation that hasn't been put in the compilation section yet, and I'm glad it hasn't, because this is a pretty rare record from the Echo and the Bunnymen, Teardrop Explodes, Axis days of UK pop. The Zoo label, I believe, was started either by them or for them, and this is a Zoo label comp that is incredible. To the Shores of Lake Placid. Textured cover and everything. I bought this right away because I was on top of the UK pop, punk, post-punk scene because of reading the press as much as I could, living in the Midwest. Obviously, I wasn't on top of it. I wasn't in the UK. There's a lot I don't know, but I learned as much as I could and absorbed and sucked that music up, starting with the Beatles. And my sister was asking me, what's the connection to you and punk? See, I see the continuation from the Beatles to punk, personally. Just it's the Sex Pistols and the Sex Pistols and the Beatles and the Clash and all that. It's all a continuum in my mind. I see it very clearly. But it's all a continuum. But these bands, I thought were the new coming. They almost were. So we have on here, big in Japan, Dereck, I Love You. Excellent band. I got a bunch of their records. Echo and the Bunnymen. Lori and the Chameleons. Excellent. Those Naughty Lumps. They have a great song called Iggy Pop's Jacket. Have you heard that song? The Turquoise Swimming Pools. Should have made it. The Teardrop Explodes and Whopper. This is just killer. So glad that I hung onto this. And, you know, it even has a booklet. You know, pictures of the bands. Look at that early Echo and the Bunnymen. The coolness of youth, you know, is really what a lot of this music has always been about. You know, of course, rock, the birth of rock was youth, culture, you know. Now it belongs to the entire world and every generation. But this movement, like punk, like the mods, like goth, like many movements, you know, it's the beauty of youth finding a voice. And a lot of times through music and art and consequently fashion, you know. Glad that this happened to be there so I could just happen to show it today. Next we have an original of the album Touch. I believe this goes back to the 60s, and this is Prague. Definitely Prague. I'm forgetting the history of this. Some guy with an Italian name was ahead of this, keyboardist. Has some other ties musically, some other well-known work. I just can't think of it right now. This is really very good. It's a little over the top, kind of like there's a similarity to Vanilla Fudge a little bit, but actually these guys are more ethereal, more out there, but over the top in that Italian kind of emotive way, which is a compliment. It's a compliment. This is a great album. And it's an original. Oh, I should show the label because this is kind of an unusual derivative of London Records. Colosseum 2020 Sound. I don't know that I've ever seen any other records on this label. Yeah, this is an original. This is my second copy too. I was very fortunate to be able to replace my original copy. All right. And since we're getting down there, I'm just going to show these and get out of here because we're past the 20-minute mark. This is the full length by Touch People. As you know, this year I helped release that double split single with Indrima, Conduits, Icky Blossoms, and Touch People. Friends are Touch People. This is Touch People's full length. And it's on Blank Wave Records. The band The Faint, maybe some of you folks have heard of The Faint, possibly. They were originally on Saddle Creek Records and were also instrumental in that label becoming successful, besides Bright Eyes. But Touch People, this is Darren's first full length. And this is wild. And check out this vinyl. This is cool. Touch People. Electronic, working with samples and samplers, and he's just a whiz. Far beyond my capabilities with, creating beats on the fly and sampling and just, that art. It's an art form. Now here's something else. This is just one of the most fantastic records. And this is very bluesy and yet not. It kind of goes even below, deeper than the blues. And I love it. Ali Farkature. The River. It's all in his native tongue, so I don't know what he's singing about. More than likely, he's probably singing about crops going bad, kids not behaving, bad weather, things I mean, you know, I just go on about my shit, and I will. Those are the kind of things that I can relate to a lot more about. The fact that my woman had big legs and she went and gave them big legs to somebody else. Well, probably if I had had my eyes open, I would have seen it coming. One of those issues about, okay. This is just fantastic. Ali Farkature, The River. This is just amazing, and it goes on right now, actually. Just super strong. You know, if someone actually gave a fuck about why I have such a strange attitude about roots music, I would be willing to make a video about it. You know, not that it matters to anyone except me, but I'd be happy to share if you want to know the whole story. Last thing I'll show, man. I mean, I can't. I can't deny that. I feel that. I don't know what he's singing about, but I sure feel it. It's like the sound of the. God damn, that's strong. I guess I'll say that much right now about music. You know, it's like my reaction to music is very primordial. I'm not choosing it. This is what happens is what happens, which is kind of why I have these interesting thoughts and ideas about certain music that is so popular. I'm thinking like, why don't other people see? You know what I mean? All right. Last thing I'll show. The last record I pulled, this Torch. I've showed this before. Love this stomping, hard rocking band. Saw these guys open for Boris the first time. Oh man, this is great. Great packaging too. I've shown this before. The dang thing just folds out forever. Just folds out forever like a, you know. It's really good music. And let's see, this one is on a colored. I forget how to open the damn thing. Really enjoying this Ali Farkature. Like I said, it's a masterwork. It is. And this album is on purple, I think. Yeah, purple vinyl. Torch, great band. Great band. Okay, so really have enjoyed talking to you folks today. It does feel like I'm hanging out with you a little bit, you know. Man, I could almost do this again and make another video. Excuse me. Talk to you.